Hello, I'm John Sablon. From time to time here on Around and About, we hope to introduce you to some extraordinary people in town. Who knows, they might be living right on your street. Barb?
Hi, I'm Barbara Carpenter, and we've met two such people living on this quiet little street. Come with us. It's time for you to meet them.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
How are you? We come bearing gifts.
Oh, my goodness.
Shortbread cookies for you.
Why, thank you.
And cinnamon sticks.
Which we hope you'll share. No, hint, 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 hint.
hope it's on
Meet June Mandelkern and Mervyn Strauss. June is a Brooklyn, New York native. Merv, as he's called, hails from California. They came to Connecticut around 2001 with their respective spouses. She lost her cherished Robert in 2013 after a long illness. Similarly, he lost his beloved Lois in 2014. They were fortunate enough, though, to find each other.
And I really wasn't looking for that. I mean, how could I? You know, it doesn't usually happen.
And I had the right word, I guess, is the blessing of meeting June.
In a quiet, understated manner, these two are living the dream. Each has endured a life of achievement and accomplishment, and they continue reaching for new artistic heights.
June is an award-winning poet. To date, she has 3 books of poetry published. Her verses are like flower petals pressed in a diary. Here's a sample of her work.
The carousel of life spins fitfully. I fear I have overstayed my welcome. My ticket of admission is expired. All dues are overdue. The world circles past, muted and gray. I am an observer, participant no more. Perhaps there still may be time for some kindred folk to step on board to join me. Perhaps some unknown master plan remains to be evolved. Perhaps the signal purpose of my life is yet to be revealed. The carousel turns. I wait with anxiety, anticipation, and against all reasonable odds, with hope.
Merv is an engineer, surveyor, and landscape architect. He is absolutely passionate about the Banja Luka tulips that he has grown for many years.
I've never attempted to watercolor this. Maybe I'll try it.
Add to that, he is a gifted photographer.
I love that photograph.
Merv also loves art. For over 20 years, he's been a docent at the Wadsworth Atheneum, and since the early 90s, he has worked to become a respectable artist. His impressive watercolor pieces grace many walls of their home.
This is my latest one. This is in Ireland. This is in Adare, A-D-A-R-E.
Some might say this couple is all the more remarkable because their combined age is 197 years.
I am 98.
I'm 99.
The paths that brought these two to prominence and to one another were anything but straight.
June was born in 1924, the second of 3 girls, as she notes in her poem, Life Cycle.
Pudgy child, second daughter, middle sister, honor student, roller skates on Brooklyn streets, giggling friends jumping rope, teenager blossoming toward love. So many years ago, who can remember her?
The United States economy crumbled. Banks closed. Millions of people became jobless, homeless, and hopeless during the Great Depression.
Both have some memory of the Great Depression. June in Brooklyn, Merv in Los Angeles. Her father was an engineer who helped build the George Washington Bridge. Her mother, a housewife. His income and steady employment shielded the family from the ravages of the worldwide economic catastrophe.
He never was unemployed, and we lived in middle class neighborhood in Brooklyn. So for us, it was watching your pennies. He used to turn the light bulbs off. And a lot of people do that. But we never suffered.
In California, Merv's father, also an engineer, was gainfully employed during that critical period.
Were we poor and hungry? The answer is no. But there was always this feeling of uncertainty and the possibility that you would lose all of this.
June started out as an English major in college. Then came a radical change.
I had a disagreement with my mother and with my parents, actually. And so I quit. I was going to Brooklyn College, and I quit college, and I went out and got myself an apartment.
She worked at the New School for Social Research, and she lived near Greenwich Village, where she would sometimes spend some off time. Why the changes?
Possible clues lie in the poem Life Cycle.
College girl, working woman, father's death alters the pattern. Boyfriend morphing into husband.
At 29, she married Robert Mandelkern, a diamond merchant by day, an activist by night, spending hours on street corners, clamoring for social justice. The couple raised 3 sons. Meanwhile, June took college classes, and in 1968, the English major earned her Bachelor of Arts degree.
Another change, though, was in the offing. June took a detour and set course for a master's degree in, of all things, geoscience, which she received in 1996. At the age of 72, she was now a geologist. What drew her to this science?
I had been reading about geology and plate tectonics, national in Scientific American and things like that, and I got intrigued by the idea, but I never worked at it because by the time I graduated, I had 3 children, and the truth was I didn't have to do anything. My husband was comfortable, and I was the lady who headed the PTA and worked for Jewish Federation and whatever. Yeah. So I regret that now. I do.
When June and Robert moved to Connecticut 23 years ago, she shifted gears again, driving now toward her true calling, writing poetry.
My words are what I have to penetrate the darkness, unveil my truth, reveal it, and bring it to the light. I bought that for him at the VA.
When Robert died in 2013, a devastated June expressed her sorrow through poetry.
After you died, I suddenly grew old. I understand your voice is gone. How can I keep from losing mine?
June did not lose her voice, though, thanks in part to an iron will to live, thanks in part to her poetry, thanks in part, a large part, to Merv Strauss, a friend who would become much more in time. They'd met at synagogue, thanks to a mutual friend.
We had a cantor she was a veteran matchmaker.
Merv had a deep understanding of what June had endured. He came by that insight the hard way. He was caring for Lois, his wife of 62 years. Her health was failing fast, with no hope of recovery. It was a difficult time for him as he faced inevitable loss.
Merv's wife was still alive when we met in beginning of 2014. She actually died in June of 2014. But she was still alive when we met, but she was really incapacitated. She had severe dementia and had been institutionalized.
There's no question. It was like a living hell as far as she was concerned.
As she descended.
As she descended, yes, absolutely.
When Lois passed away, The loss left Merv with a stunned jumble of feelings.
When you lose somebody, well, there's a sense of loss and there's a sense of gratification.
With those mixed emotions, in that bleakest of moments, Merv decided to look to the light, to see his glass as being half full rather than half empty.
Some people will just crawl up on the couch across the way and that's the end of it. But I didn't find that I wanted to do that. I wanted to be around people.
Then all the women started circulating, but I was already there. But I thought to myself, that's it for me. I had a nice time. He can find somebody younger and richer than me. But he wanted me and he courted me.
After 2 years of keeping company, Merv moved to take things to the next level by
asking her after a while if she'd like to live with me and have fun and enjoy ourselves and support each other when we had a problem. That's what it's all about, right?
Remember, this love story came into full bloom when these two were 90 and 91. June's poetry often reveals her keen sense of time's passage.
Young mothers in the playground wearing jeans or cut-off shorts. From my bench in the shade, I watch them chase their toddlers. Power to kiss the fallen child. Kiss the hurt and help it go away. If they think about it at all, do they think that it will always be so? Those many years ago, did I?
They say age doesn't mean anything, but they know it does.
It has to, at this point, when you're this age, that your time is growing short.
Well, there are values of being older, and there are certainly disadvantages, I would tell you.
So you're at peace with it?
I guess I would have to answer, I have to be.
In our sunset years, unexpected love appeared. Melodies of hope join in the swelling chorus of our last great song of life.
That these two have each fended off the ravages of time for nearly 100 years is remarkable enough.
What marks them as extraordinary, though, is what they've done with their lives along the way. They have refused to yield to life's onslaught, disappointments, failures, loss of loved ones, illness, and an ever-constant enemy, time, aging.
Old women in the locker room undress for the water aerobics class at the local community center. Push their fleshy breasts into 2 small cups of faded swimsuits and swollen feet into bright-colored sandals. Eager as girls, they head for the pool, holding off the ravages of time. One more day.
Each has drawn on an inner strength to move forward, learning new things, expanding their talents.
Today, for all their changes, June and Merv are the very best versions of themselves.
And there's no doubt each of these remarkable individuals is bolstered by the other.
Especially during the pandemic, there was just no comparison about not having somebody like this. And we know it. We both know it.
Yes.
And we really thank our blessings every day. Both of us do.
As much as they give to others with their words, with their brush strokes, they reserve their greatest gift for themselves, for one another, the love they share.
The sight of an older couple walking hand in hand fills my heart with joy. Thus it is we walk together, you and I, hand in hand, one more day.
Extraordinary people, yes? We'll see you next time on Around and About.